So yesterday we were talking about the ongoing anti-government protests happening in Iran right now. And this strikes a bit of a chord for you. Can you explain for folks?
I mean, being half Iranian, I have family in Mashhad where some of the rallies are happening. And I think the larger conversation that I would love to be having right now is more so how to look at this from the humane perspective. When we look at certain countries outside of the United States, we do have a sort of isolationist way of approaching things in which we do not relate. And so for me, when we're looking at these movements, I feel like it is really connected to our own movements in the past, whether it's the Black Lives Matter rallies that have been happening or the Women's March. And so I think for me it's a matter of showing support for the protesters and showing support in making sure that people are safe and understanding that this is a part of our larger global community and how these things affect us. It's so much more than the Iran nuclear deal. It's so much more than these Trump tweets in favor for or against the government. It's really about the people that are being affected and the idea that they are in a very similar situation in which they were sold an economic plan that does not benefit them, similar to a tax plan that's happening right now. And so it is one of those things in which we have to look at that interconnectivity.
Go ahead.
Can I just ask you, is it true that women are really at the forefront of the protests in Iran?
I mean, I think what's funny is it may be a surprising narrative from some, but my family is a personal matriarchy. And so I come from a lineage of fierce women who are humanitarians who really were so big in terms of even in, bringing the sciences into Mashhad and bringing in humanitarian efforts into Mashhad. So that's where my family comes from. And so it's always been a narrative that if you're in Iran, you're familiar with just women being at the forefront of these movements. I think it's a matter of many people realizing it for the first time how involved women are.
Well, you know, it's one of those things where you're just sort of remembering that when people are fighting for their freedom, generally it is the women in the front. It is the women who are going, hey, we're not good, because it's our kids who take our place if it's not us.
Is your family protesting and supporting the protest right now?
As of right now, I don't have families involved in the protests right now. I think it is a difficult thing because Iran has gone through a lot. Even my father left before the revolution, which happened to be a coincidence. But it's one of those things in which people are trying to figure out how to approach this matter and what is the future of Iran and what is the future of this government.
And it's hard, you know, when you bring religion in, and that core belief. I mean, it's a tough one. It's a very tough one because people say, well, you're talking against my religion. It's like, no, but when you have a religion that is 50,000 years old, things are going to shift a little bit. Things are going to change. You know, people are going to think differently. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.